So this is a kind of raw. I'm in a parking lot at a grocery store on the way home from visiting my mom tonight, and I figured as a caregiver, these real moments after a real visit is super crucial so people understand really what you go through advocating for your loved one with dementia as a caregiver and as a family member. Today wasn't really having a great day, kind of crappy out, wasn't feeling super great, a little depressed, got some anxiety, kind of holding off visiting my mom. And sorry, I was just looking in the rearview mirror. I got a reflection of this, making sure this is still recording so I'm not talking to myself. But I finally get it in me to go and visit my mom. I get buzzed in to my mom's memory care facility, and immediately it smelled like poop. So it got worse as it got to the little TV area where my mom was sitting. So I asked one of the CNAs, and he's like, "Oh, I have a bad nose." And it's like, okay, fine. He went and got other CNAs. And if you're really advocating hard for your mom or your loved one, guess what? You're not always their best friend. You kind of become a pain in the butt a lot of times, even though it shouldn't be that way, but that's the reality. And a couple other CNAs came in. "I don't smell anything." Of course they don't smell anything. It's not their mom or their loved one sitting in a bunch of shit smell. So it's hard to not get upset with people and the staff and rub people the wrong way. And then my mom immediately comes to me. She's nervous and starts crying. I take her into the room, through the stench of the poop that was definitely there, not my imagination. I actually do have a really great nose, so sorry my senses are heightened. But regardless of that, sorry, I think I'm going down. Hopefully it didn't cut off, but it doesn't really matter. The point of this is the message. And when I got to my mom's room, my mom was basically really, hysterical, saying she's tired. She essentially wants to die. Honestly, there's moments a lot of times as a caregiver where you know that there's some clarity and lucidness in the moment. And I can tell this was one of those times. My mom was, expressing to me she's tired and she wants to die. And I know sometimes it can be anxiety and the dementia and the confusion and all of that ramped up into a big bad ball. But this felt very sincere and genuine, like she had a clarity moment and was really just conveying to someone who she can trust, meaning myself, that she was tired and there was nothing I can do. And a lot of these staff members, they don't understand because they're not dealing with this. I've dealt with this, and a lot of family members have dealt with this journey for a long time. And we're in it and living it, and it's a whole different connection than just working there as a staff member. And a lot of these staff members are pretty young, and they haven't had the experience to go through what we're going through as family members. And they need to really have training in place so they can understand and have some empathy and compassion for what we're really dealing with. They could look at me like I'm being a pain in the butt, but at the same time, guess what? I'm there all the time advocating and visiting and loving my mom, and they should be happy that I'm doing that. And instead, it feels almost as if I'm a pain in the ass because of that. So there's a lot of frustration, a lot of anger almost at times, and a lot of sadness, and it just really can bum you out that you don't even understand why you're getting looked at like you're a bad person or something, when in theory you're the only person there visiting anyone. I go in there all the time. All the other family members barely have anyone there ever, and I'm there on a daily visiting and caring and advocating for my mom. And my mom was very noticeably upset today and talking about wanting to die, in a very heavy moment for myself as her caregiver. And they don't see this, they don't understand it, and frankly, I don't think a lot of them really care. They don't really get what we're dealing with as family members. And that's a huge gap in the broken system and the flawed system for our seniors, is that they don't understand what us as family members being caregivers are actually dealing with and going through. It's a huge, stress. It causes massive anxiety. It causes a ton of issues for us, just dealing with this heavy load, watching our loved one, my mom, for my example, fade away slowly. I mean, they call it the long goodbye for a reason, but it's way heavier than just a long goodbye. It's a long goodbye with a lot of confusion, a lot of anger, a lot of hurdles, a lot of advocating, staff issues, all kinds of stuff, cleanliness issues. There's so many things that, you deal with as a caregiver for a loved one with Alzheimer's or dementia, and it's so freaking tough. I just want people to understand that this is just one visit, one day as a caregiver, and I've been dealing with this personally for over 15 years between my father and my mom, and a lot of people have dealt with this for a long time as well. So it definitely takes a mental toll on everything, your psyche, your mental and physical well-being. So it's super crucial to practice self-care and, try to decompress. I went to Hawaii for 2 weeks, which was a total blessing. But at the same time, you come back to this and it's almost like getting punched in the freaking teeth, because it's so brutally, polar opposite and contrast as far as happiness to sadness. So yes, it's a blessing, but at the same time, it's just tough. And I want people to understand how tough it is. And the caregivers out there are total rock stars. We definitely need to work on our system for our seniors and our loved ones, because we're all going to be coming up against this journey eventually. A lot more people are having to step up and do something and take care of their parents, and it's not an easy journey at all. So to the caregivers out there, just know you're not alone. Definitely practice self-care. And yeah, it's brutal. I mean, to hear your mom, for my example tonight, genuinely tell me she wants to die and that she's tired and she just, doesn't want to go through this anymore, it completely breaks your heart. And if you're not in a great place like I wasn't today, you just get to a place where I just feel like I can't take it anymore. You want to break down. I almost passed the emergency room thinking, like, should I go and admit myself and see what they say and maybe get some kind of something to relieve my anxiety and everything, but don't have insurance right now between jobs and all kinds of fun stuff like that. And it just is super brutal and really real, and it's hard to express that, but I'm trying to express this by being in a parking lot at a grocery store before I get something before my trip home, just to not forget the moment and how real it is and how much it really takes a mental toll on myself, for my example tonight, and just totally kind of crushed me. So yeah, you almost just want to cry or break down, and it totally sucks. So for those out there who understand, you're not alone, and just stay strong. And I don't know, it's a tough one. But that's it, guys. I just wanted to give a real glimpse, insight to literally one day of this journey and how challenging it can be, just with dealing with your loved one with dementia, dealing with staff issues, dealing with, a lady coming to my mom's door and peeing herself, poop smell. I mean, this is all literally just one visit tonight. And, staff aren't always super friendly. The staff quality isn't always the best at a lot of these facilities. My mom's in a Medicaid-funded facility. There aren't enough Medicaid-funded memory care facilities, period. So there's massive flaws in the system, and it just makes a really hard journey so much more challenging and so much harder. So it's sad, but at the same time, we just do our best, one breath at a time. And I'm going to go get some groceries and try to just shut down and pretend that this day not necessarily didn't happen, but just move on from it. And tomorrow's another day, and doing my best to stay hopeful. But that's it, guys. I hope this helps one person at least dealing with the caregiving journey, knowing you're not alone. And that's it, guys. Good night. Bye.